We're back to the old video editing machine. That temporary unit was very short-lived. It worked fine for the first day, and it worked okay for the second day. Not as good as the first day, but it still worked without any major problems. That was on a weekend, and I hadn't shut it off because I was in and out throughout the day doing videos, so I just left it on. And then I turned it off on Sunday night. On Monday I did some filming, but I didn't do any editing, so I didn't use that computer on Monday. And then on Tuesday I needed to do some editing, so I turned on that computer. And when I turned on that computer, it took an excessive amount of time to initialize. I'd say it took somewhere in the range of 2 to 3 minutes to start up, which for a modern system is extremely excessive. You know, most of the machines, 10-15 seconds, they're good to go. So I started using it, and it just wasn't working well. It kept freezing up, it kept having errors, but I had a very lengthy project in there which I needed to finish and save. I mean, it was like every stinking command was the spinning wheel for 15 seconds. It was really quite a frustrating experience. It was almost unusable. But I was able to get through the video, albeit I was very annoyed by the time I had finished all the editing. Because, you know, I don't really like video editing all that much. You know, I don't mind doing a more advanced project here and there, but for the most part, what I like is the filming aspect. I like operating a camera. I'm not big on post-processing. So when it starts to take longer than it should to do something very simple, I get irritated. So I get done with the video, and I render the video, and it was I think almost a 4-hour clip. So it took a long time to save it, but it did eventually save it, and I got the file successfully, but iMovie crashed. In fact, ironically, the iMovie you're looking at right now just crashed the same way that the other one did. It's a very common failure mode for this stupid thing. It exports the video, and the video saves properly, but then the iMovie just freezes and becomes unusable, and you have to force shut it and then restart. And then usually it will be okay after that, but an additional annoyance is that it does some kind of like recovery thing and brings back old things that you've erased. So right now there's, I don't know, 15 videos on the screen. When I force this and reopen it, I'm going to have 50 videos on the screen, and they're all like missing files, and it's just unusable garbage that it puts on there, and I have to sit there and delete it all and get it back to the way that it was. So it's annoying, but it doesn't lose any data, right? So going back to the old machine, I had rendered this video, which ended up being like 50 gigabytes. It was a huge file, and I had it saved it, and I could see it in the Finder window as the file. The size was correct, the thumbnail was there. It had saved successfully, and I went to copy it onto the network drive, and the Finder decided to act up in a way that just really gets under my skin. Every now and again this unit does it as well. It puts this stupid little do not symbol over every single icon, all the folders and the files, and just says you don't have permission to access this, and you can't open or copy or move anything. It just, you're done, locks you out, and it's infuriating. And it did that after I had saved that video, and it just, I was mad because of how long it took me to make that video. And when that happened, I couldn't even move it to the file server. It just got me so mad. I picked up the computer and just slammed it on the table, which of course is not really a rational thing to do, but that's what happened. And then the screen broke. I didn't really care if the screen broke because I wasn't going to use the machine anyways. It was not working. But so then I says, oh, but I needed that data, the files in there. So I says, okay, well I'll shut it off, turn everything back on, hope it doesn't, the system didn't corrupt, and I'll just plug in a screen and I'll use the external screen to get the documents off, and fine. Because I figured I'll go back to this one, because if they both stink, we might as well use the one that's easier to see, which is this one. So I go to plug in a computer screen to that other computer, and that's when I discover that computer does not have any video outputs. It only has USB, and I don't have any USB screens. I like to believe that most people don't have USB screens, so I couldn't display the computer's contents onto another screen. So I had to destroy the machine to get the hard drive out so that I could read the hard drive externally into this computer, which we're going to try to do now. That machine is shot. It's unsalvageable, thanks to Apple's deranged design that doesn't allow you to access the components for recovery or service or repair or anything. So this is the drive that was in there. It's a HGST drive, and it's got some funny caddy on it, which of course is probably proprietary. So this drive, oh, it's stuck to there with tape. Oh my gosh, I hate Apple so much. They're not what they used to be. I never used to hate them up until about 5 or 10 years ago. I didn't mind them, and then something changed. Anyway, let's plug this in here and see if I can get this video back. I think what marked the change was when Steve died, because ever since that the products have just not been the same. I remember 2012 was the last year that they really made a halfway decent product, and ever since then I've never liked their hardware or their software. The drive feels like its head is moving and the platter's spinning. But the question will become, since this is a newer operating system, is there some stupid lockout on it such that you can't read it externally? Might have to try reading it in Linux or something. Let's see. Let's see if it even shows up here. Yep, it does show up, but it's not mounting. Let's see if we can get it to mount. In typical Apple fashion, it's just useless. Absolutely useless. I hate the Mac so much. This kind of stuff doesn't happen on Linux and Windows. This is just abysmal. The most basic functions, read an external hard drive, even that doesn't work. It's in use, but I can't see anything on it, so infinite loop here. Okay, this is when we just have to unplug the machine and start over again. And this is why I say I really wish there was a video editor for Windows that I found easy to use, because this computer, it's a joke and a half. And it's not this particular unit. This is my experience with Apple far and wide. So this is why I don't understand how anybody could take a liking to this stuff, because it's useless. Okay, here we go. It's loaded back up again. I don't want this coming back up, so we're just going to shut that. Let's plug this drive in and see if it'll work. Probably going to have to get a Linux box out and recover it from there, because this stupid piece of junk it's not having it. I don't know why it won't mount. Oh gosh, I hate the Mac. This is useless. Okay, we got a Linux unit now. Years ago, you always used to be able to read the Mac drives on Linux. Let's see if that's still the case. Nope. Well, I guess I've lost the videos, which is partially my own fault, partially not, because there's a good chance that everything was corrupted anyways. The fact that I can't even read this now leads me to believe that it probably was corrupt even before I slammed it on the table. So, that's annoying. Gotta make all those videos again. Not happy about that. So we'll just keep going along with this stupid computer. I hate this computer. It's very unreliable and very unstable. But until I find a good editor for the Windows, or until this machine physically breaks, this is what I'll be using.